Fellow speakers, Ricky here with Breaking Your Barriers. As promised, I told you I'm going to make sure that I post as many videos as I can so that you are well prepared for the International Speech Contest, which is literally just around the corner. For now, I'm going to focus on the technical side. I'm going to teach you guys how to compete using an iPad, a cell phone, or a computer. The first gadget we're going to focus on is the iPad. This video is filmed on an iPad just to give you guys an example of what it can do. I'm also using an external microphone, which you guys cannot see. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to make sure you get the best sound before I show you the different variations of how you can use audio, regardless if you're using the internal speakers of your iPad or an external microphone like I'm doing right now. I'm looking forward to teaching you how to set up the best audio and video for when you compete or when you speak. This is an example using an external USB microphone. Hello, 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 hello. The reason I did that is because I wanted you to see and hear how sensitive the microphone is when it picks up a loud noise or a soft voice, or right here at speaking level, depending on how you speak. Once again, this is a USB example soundbite. This is an example of using a wireless microphone or a lapel mic. Let's see how it picks up. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. And normal speaking voice. So this is one of the options that I use, either a wireless mic, a USB microphone, or the internal microphone on the iPad itself. You choose which sounds best to you. All right, this is my iPad setup right here. As you can see, I have two studio lights so that I'm well lit. I make sure not to sit in front of a window, because if you sit in front of a window and there's light coming through, you're gonna come across as a silhouette if you don't have these kind of lights in front of you. Here, you could see the iPad is set on a stand and I've got a box behind it. I know it's kind of ghetto, but that's not what they're gonna see in the finished product when you're actually competing. This is the speaker that I connect directly to the iPad so that I can hear my other competitors as well as me being announced as I'm competing. Right there, you're gonna see that I use a USB microphone. I'm gonna give you guys a closer look at these items. If you could see, I've put a baffle behind the microphone. If you're in a room that has a lot of echo, you're gonna have problems. This microphone picks up pretty well. In fact, I have it set at 50% and it will pick up my voice from roughly, I'm 2 feet away, 2.5 feet away. What you need to do here is use this baffle to prevent any ambient noise from entering the microphone so that it only picks up your voice, since you're going to be the primary person in front of the microphone speaking. Regardless if you're moving around left, right, center, forward, backwards, you are still in front of the microphone and it will only pick you up. Depending on how much echo there is, I would move this right above the microphone so that nothing will be picked up, and the only sound that it will pick up is right here straight ahead. On the end over there, you see there is a headset which you can connect directly either to your iPad or to your USB microphone. It's up to you. And you also see that I've got a table here as well, which you'll not see when you are competing, because right here, if you look at the video, now this is not set exactly the way I'd like to. When you set up your iPad, make sure that it's eye level. Otherwise, you're just gonna see this right here. Now let's just say that I was this tall. This is eye level for me. This is how you wanna have it set, almost exactly eye level, so that when you're looking, it's like you're looking at your audience directly. As for backgrounds, This kind of background I would avoid only because it draws attention away from you as a speaker. And it's nice to look at, it's beautiful. People are trying to figure out, hey, what is it? What are those letters, or what is this design? You want to avoid that. This here is my backdrop, which is on a backdrop stand. I've got them clipped onto the stand. You can choose whatever color works best for you. Choose a neutral color. You don't want to choose something way too busy. So this is how I have it set up right here. As you'll see, it is a stand. There's a tripod. I got a sandbag over there so that it's stable. Now with regards to creativity, sky's the limit. In fact, I'm going to show you, you can have it lit the way it is exactly with these two studio lights, or you can put up lights to enhance your background's look. Now you're going to have to work with your studio lights in front of you to make sure that you do not come across as a silhouette, because if you have up lights behind you and then your light in front of you is not strong enough, you're going to come across dark. So be careful with that. But let me go to give you an example of what it looks like with an uplight. This is what your backdrop will look like if you have an uplight. This is also what your backdrop will look like on your iPad as you are competing. So let me go to stand in front of the iPad so you can have a sample, an example of what it looks like. I'm gonna have to crouch down just to get to eye level. As you can see, the clarity of my face still shines through. That's one of the most important things you're gonna need, because the judges are looking to see expressions as well as emotions when you compete. They're not looking only to hear your voice, otherwise you can compete as a silhouette. The background comes across very nicely. You can see the uplight. You can choose whatever color you want for the uplight, but make sure it is not overwhelming and it's not causing an eye strain on those that are watching you. So this is how I set it up. I get to the individual pieces of how it is set up so that you won't have any problems when you give it a try. Here's the breakdown of the items you're going to need to compete with the iPad. First, you're going to need an iPad. Second, you're going to need to download the Zoom app or whatever platform they're going to be using to compete this year. The next item you're going to need is an extension cord with ample amount of outlets. For example, if you're going to plug in your computer, your iPad, your speaker, your mic, whatever it is you're going to plug in, please make sure you have enough outlets for that. The next item you're going to need is a USB microphone if this is what you're going to use to compete. This personally is the kind of microphone that I've used in the past when I competed. And let me go ahead and give you a closer look. This has a lot of benefits, and this is one of the reasons why I personally like using it. This is the Samsung G-Track Pro USB microphone. Now, if you're connecting this to an iPad, if you connect it directly to your iPad, it will not work because this thing needs some juice to power it. And I'm going to show you how to power this microphone before you do connect it to your iPad. But these are some of the benefits that I like very much about this microphone. First and foremost, this setting right here, you have multiple settings. I set mine at cardioid, which is the sound will be received right here in the front. So this is where I'm going to stand primarily in front of this microphone. Also, you have a mute function. You're going to be using the mic knob and the volume knob pretty heavily, because the mic knob, depending on how high you set it, is what the people are going to hear. Now, I highly recommend when you test this, you're going to want to have people on the other end lowering their speakers, raising their speakers to see how you sound, if you still have a full sound while they're listening to you. And if you need to lower it because there's distortion, because if it's too high, you're going to get distortion or you're going to get a lot of hiss. The volume knob right here is when you connect your headphones. Because if you want to see what you sound like directly on this microphone, that's basically, it's got its own personal monitor. And it's beautiful because this mic has pretty much everything you need here on the back. if you've got a regular headphone, you can definitely plug it in right here. When setting up my audio with regards to how much power I'm going to have running through my microphone, I have it anywhere from 50% to maybe 60, 70%. That depends on you, and that depends on the strength of your voice. Now this item is a baffle. It's just a makeshift baffle. I got a half pipe from Home Depot and just cut it in half, and then I stuffed it here with cloth so that I can get rid of the ambient sounds. Right here, this is where you would place your microphone so that you can avoid any ambient sounds. Just in case you have any echo from the ceiling, you push it in as deep as you can. And you put the cloth above your microphone so it avoids any kind of ambient echo, noise, or whatever is happening around you. The baffle's pretty easy to make. If you have cloth, if you have any kind of cushioning, sponge, whatever it is, it'll help alleviate any kind of ambient noise. And the next item you're going to need is a USB hub. This is the powered USB hub. This here is your power supply, and this here is your USB going into your iPad, your laptop, or your PC. Now, as promised, I'm going to show you that you need this powered USB hub to power your microphone. Here's your microphone. Here's the USB that comes directly from the microphone. You plug it into your hub, and as you can see, the power light indicator is not on yet until you power it on. The next item you're going to need is a USB to a lightning adapter. Once again, that depends on your iPad. Some of them might have the C adapter, some of them might have this lightning adapter. For mine, it's the lightning adapter because you're probably thinking, how is he going to connect the USB to his iPad? Well, this is how you do it. You're ready to go. Now the next item you're going to need is a headphone. This headphone connects directly into your USB microphone. And the reason this is important is because you're going to need to hear what you sound like. You don't need this exact headphone. This is okay. This is something AKG that I've been using, and it's been working great for me, so I'm happy. But whatever headphone you've got, even those little earbuds that have this exact 1/8 jack, you're good with that. The next item you're going to need is an adapter. This adapter is a headphone jack adapter to a XLR adapter. This item connects directly to your headphone jack on your iPad out to a speaker. Now, some speakers may receive input using a female XLR, but in most cases that's not the case. So I have a coupler or an adapter which changes this female adapter into a male. Now I can connect it directly into my speaker. The purpose of this adapter is so that you can hear your fellow contestants, you can hear the host, and you can hear what's going on in the room. If anybody's speaking or if they have a question for you, you'll hear it off of your speaker. Now, how do we connect our iPad to the speaker? Well, this speaker is very simple. And right up here, you've got your input, which is where we would plug this in. And over here on the right, this is your volume control. Now I've turned it roughly 45, 50% up, and that's way more than enough if you just want to hear what's going on inside of your room. Okay, what I found works best is make sure that you plug in your USB hub, which is connected to your USB microphone first before you even start the Zoom app. Once it's plugged in, go ahead and start your meeting. It's going to ask you if you want to use internet audio. Of course, you're going to choose yes, calling using internet audio. And if you want to know if you've successfully connected your USB microphone, click on the screen. You're going to see this Bluetooth icon right here show up. This means your USB microphone is connected successfully. And the final item you're going to need to connect is your speaker using your headphone to XLR jack. So you connect it to your headphone jack here on the iPad. Anyway, this is how you connect your audio system to your iPad if you're looking to compete using an iPad. This is the final setup when it comes to the World Championship of Public Speaking or the International Speech Contest as you make your way to the World Championship of Public Speaking. I make sure to test it by putting my arms out. I have a few inches on the right and the left. Also, I can move forward and I can move backwards. I also have my uplight set up. You don't need to. Only if you want to. That's completely at your discretion. Also, studio lights in front of me, that's completely at your discretion. You can use very strong table lamps if you have those. And also, don't forget about the boundaries. On the right side, I have a boundary right here. On my left side, I have another boundary so that when I'm talking to you and looking at the camera, I do not step out of bounds. Even if my hand goes out just a tad bit, it's okay. But make sure if you're gesturing, you're not gesturing out here. You're in here, okay? Also, when you go back to the left side, make sure that you're looking at the camera, the eyes. Remember, that eye right there is your audience, and you're not jumping out of frame, and you're not jumping out of the boundary right here as well. If you notice from the first videos that I showed you, you saw clips, you saw the tripod, you saw the lights, you saw the speakers, you saw the baffle, you saw the USB mic. Right now, all you see is a very clean competition stage. I hope everything I've shared with you is very beneficial. And if you do have any questions, feel free to post it in the comment section. And most importantly, if you want to see more videos before you start competing, smash that subscribe button. See you guys on the next video.